Okay, sailors, so since we've been talking about the hero's journey, or the monomyth, and I've given you guys an example of it being similar to the steps in the Lion King, I'm going to take you through the Lion King following the hero's journey steps. And remember that the hero's journey takes place in two places, one, the ordinary world, and two, the special world. So we're going to follow all these steps: the call to adventure, assistance, departures, trials, approach, crisis, treasure, result, return, new life, resolution, and status quo. And we're going to follow our hero's journey as they go along these steps, down into the special world, back to the ordinary world, and back to status quo. So, in the Lion King, our status quo is Simba's everyday life in the Pride Lands with Mufasa. He's playing, he's making the rounds, he's hanging out with Nala. He's your everyday spoiled brat prince kid, and that's his everyday, that's his status quo. We move from the status quo into the call to adventure. In the Lion King, the call to adventure is Scar telling Simba about the elephant graveyard. This is his call to adventure because this is when he starts to think that he wants to move outside of the Pride Lands, that he wants to start to mature, be his own lion, and he goes against his dad's wishes and his normal everyday life. We then, throughout the movie, have some assistants. And his main assistant in the beginning of the movie is Zazu, this bird guy right here. But he also, as the story goes along, receives assistance from Rafiki, the monkey, well, the baboon, and Timon and Pumbaa, who he meets later. Now, we're going to move out of the ordinary world and into the special world, and we're going to do that through the step called the departure. Now, in the departure, our hero is in the ordinary world, and something happens or a choice is made where they leave that world into a new one. And in this story, we have Scar telling Simba to run away and never return after his dad died. And Simba does this. He runs. He leaves the Pride Land, and the Pride Land is his ordinary world. So he's done. He's not in the Pride Land anymore. Now he's in his special world. He goes through some trials. So he leaves the Pride Lands, and it's not easy. He has to run a long time. He gets dehydrated. He has to learn how to eat bugs. He grows up. He has to face the fears then of being blamed for his father's death when Nala shows up and kind of brings all that crashing back down on him. Then, the approach. Now, this means our hero is going to whatever it is their final battle is or the final thing they have to accomplish. They are on their way there. They finished whatever training they're getting from their trials, and now they're going to their final destination. And in The Lion King, this is Simba running back to Pride Rock to face Scar after talking to Rafiki and learning that his dad still believes in him and remembering who he is. And he goes running back to Pride Lands. So then, once he gets there, he's got to face this crisis. And the crisis is that his uncle has taken over the Pride Lands, and now Simba has to step up and say, I'm the rightful king, you're out of here. And there's a fight that ensues where Simba almost dies because Scar, is holding him over the ledge. And he's like, this looks familiar. I think this is exactly like how I killed your dad. And then Simba decides he's had enough and tosses Scar overboard, and the hyenas, well, it's strongly suggested that the hyenas eat him. Then we have the treasure. So that means, what did our hero get from the crisis? And in this case, he gets to be the king of Pride Lands, and he gets to rule the Pride Lands, and that's his treasure. And there's a result. So the crisis happens, and because it happens, the hero gets a treasure, but there's also a result. So something has changed, something new, something has come out of that, and that is that the Pride Lands heal. So before this, we see them on fire, and there's a bunch of bones, and everything's dead. And then after Simba defeats Scar, there's a rain that comes down, and it washes all the dry bones out of the Pride Lands, and you see it puts out the fires, and then you'll see that now it's ready for new life, and there's going to be leaves coming back and growing, and you're going to see live animals coming back to the Pride Lands, and so it ends the famine, people return, and it just heals the land, and that's the result. Now we're going to go to the return. And this is where our hero has decided that they are coming back to their ordinary world. And in Simba's case, this means he walks up Pride Rock, stands at the end, and makes this giant roar. And what he's doing is he's reclaiming Pride Rock and the Pride Lands for himself and the lions. And he has officially returned as king of the Pride Lands. So now he's back in his ordinary world, and there is a new life. And in this movie, the new life is very literal. There is a new life in that Simba and Nala have a baby. And that is the baby. It's so cute. And it's a new life, right? Because it's born. So, new life. That means the circle of life, get it, has started over. And then there's a resolution. So, Rafiki gets the baby, holds it up over everybody else in the Pride Lands in the same way that he did Simba, saying the circle of life of this lion monarchy is back to its the way that it usually does things, and this is the new ruler, and everything is going to be okay. So that's how that works. That's the hero's journey. And then it just goes back to status quo, where you're going to see this new little baby probably running around the Pride Lands and hanging out with Simba the same way that he hung out with Mufasa. And that is the hero's journey in The Lion King. All right.